All right, what is up, YouTube world? My name is Eric Stone, and sorry getting the camera situated. Sorry. There we go. Now, anyways, this is a video that I was gonna do about a week ago. I never got around to it. I need to start actually having what I used to call agenda for the night, where I do certain things and write them down and stuff, but I'm working on it. Anyways, my YouTube channel is Expiring Music Writer. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, suggest, disagree, I don't care. If you hadn't seen one of these or forgot how I do these things, I usually drink some alcoholic. Sometimes I get a little tipsy, sometimes I don't. But anyways, this video that I'm doing right now is gonna be called "What the Hell Happened to Freedom of Speech?" So, drinking a beer, I usually drink a beer or whiskey or wine or whatever floats my boat. Anyways, I actually wrote a song about this called Open Minded. And if you see my Facebook, you'll see it on there. Hopefully one day I'll get a band going and record it. But anyways, it's getting to the point, not just where I live, but everywhere. And, you know, in the United States and just everywhere. People are so damn sensitive. And not only that, and you can get pissed off, I don't care. But it's like, it's okay to agree with somebody as long as you agree with me. If not, fuck you, you know? And I'm just tired of that bullshit. You know, I don't know, I'm not that old, I'm 36. But it seems to me like before the internet was invented or became real popular, that it wasn't near as bad, or maybe I was just too young to really notice. But I've noticed, especially with Facebook, and I'll probably get this taken down, that if you don't agree with, it's just stupid. If you don't agree with something, you have the right to call the Facebook cops and they delete it. And what gets me, some of it's not even that bad. But my deal with this bullshit is we're all American. Or, you know, for most of us. Not most of us, but where I am from. What happened to the days where we could agree to disagree and just go on or talk about situations where you don't get fighting mad and have a screaming match or go into an actual brawl? BRAWL, not BRA, which is a lot more fun, but anyways, from what I've heard. Anyways, but like, and it don't matter if you're left wing or right wing, Republican or Democrat. It's just stupid the way that people. If I don't agree with it. Screw you. You know, you get it taken off Facebook or TikTok or whatever. Excuse me. And wasn't that great in school. Not that I was stupid. I just didn't give a shit. I could have done a hell of a lot better than what I did. But I can remember, you know, when we fought the Revolutionary War many, 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 many moons ago, it was because of religious freedom and freedom of speech and this and a bunch of other stuff, you know. And now it's getting to the point where it's like they're taking that away from us, you know, because you can't smoke in certain places. You can't do other stuff and just a bunch of bullshit. My deal, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, is people that bitch about going into a bar and it's smoky, which most of them now are not. I'm like, it's a bar. Cigarettes and alcohol go hand in hand. I mean, I don't smoke. I've tried it once, did not like it. Well, actually, I've tried it twice, well, 3 times. I tried cigarettes once. It was a menthol. No, thank you. Tried a cigar. It was about the same. No, thank you. And I tried some pot one time. But anyways, I just expect to go with that environment. You know, you got a beer or a whiskey drink. There's going to be someone smoking a cigarette or something else. You know, the funny thing is, and I look back at it now, back when I was a kid, like in the late 90s or early 2000s. Now, I don't know when all this came effect. I forgot to look it up. Stupid me. But anyways, you know, I could remember going into a restaurant when I was a kid, and there'd be smoking and non-smoking areas. But what was funny, you could remembering back, you look up and there's just a thick cloud of smoke. But my deal is, the way I look at it, God's going to take you when he's ready. Now, if you're not religious, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not, but, you know, I don't think, because you smoke 50 cigarettes, you're going to die earlier. I think God gives you the amount of time that he knows from the day before you were born how long you've got on this earth, you know. I mean, it don't help. I'm not saying to go out and do whatever, but I'm just saying I think, that's just my belief. You can take it or you can leave it. But like I said, I don't get mad when I see or go into a bar and people are smoking. It does not bother me because it just goes hand in hand. Actually, I've been wanting to write a song about that, but whoever wrote, I wanted to write a song, and I hadn't done it yet. I'm a songwriter too. That deals with smoking and drinking in the bars, and I just hadn't sat down and got a good idea about it yet. Excuse me, but anyways, but my deal too is like with I know I'm getting a little bit off hand, but this is all to do with free speech, and not really just free speech, but freedom of our rights and liberties and whatever, you know. You know, honestly, you know what I think? I think what they should do, the government, is don't put or legalize everything, cocaine, as a trial. You know, whatever drug, heroin, cocaine, shrooms, acid, pot, cigarettes, and see from in a year's time how much, and alcohol too, I mean, alcohol is legal, but that the drug use and violence, the percentages are from when they started to now. It probably never will. Now, I know they're working on getting recreational marijuana, and I'm very pro marijuana. I don't do it. I've tried it, but I mean, I'm not a regular smoker, but to me, if there's so many benefits for marijuana that it's stupid as hell that it is still illegal. And there's still so much stuff, not just smoking pot, but we get from hemp. Look it up. I've done it. I'm not going into it. Anyways, because this research I've done, I haven't done a lot, but I would rather be around a bunch of potheads than I would alcoholics. Because weed makes you very mellow and everything's funny. Beer can make you angry and mad and depressed. It's a depressant too. And just, you know, that's just my deal. Now, people thinking, me, you're fucking cuckoo. I may be, but that's my belief, and I got the right to believe that. No, and but anyways, but how this really started, like I said, I get off track. I've got a deal on my Facebook called Just Yakkin', and this beer is very good, by the way. Anyways, it's Shiner Bock. I love Shiner Bock. It's about the only dark beer that I've found that I've actually like. And but anyways, so and this is my deal to parents. I'm not a parent, but I've been a kid before. Not very damn long ago. And you know, whether you're trying to shelter them from smoking, drinking, sex, porn, whatever, they're gonna find it. Believe me. Trust me, it's a lot easier than when I was a kid. Because the internet had just started when I was a kid. And, you know, it's just a lot easier. But anyways, that's getting off the subject. It's not, but I don't want to go into a tangent. But anyways, my deal is kids are very curious. And they hear more than what you realize, parents. Like I said, I really no room to talk because I'm not a parent, but I've been a kid a long time. And I grew up very strict Catholicism. We went to church every Sunday. And, you know, mom and my dad tried to shelter me. But I still found out about stuff. You know, school, friends. But before we get into that, I'm going to make you wait just a little bit and I get some funny stories. But I wanted to do some research on like freedom of speech and stuff. I'm a big music fan if you haven't noticed. And I've noticed, you know, I think my three favorite genres of music is red dirt, and then it'd probably be country, traditional country, and then hair metal, glam rock, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, Dee Snider has stood up for this, you know, freedom of speech, and he's a lead singer of Twisted Sister. I think that's right. And he's very pro for freedom of speech in music and in, you know, I'm sure in other things too. But the first album to ever get like a parental explicit lyrics, parental discretionary, I know I'm saying that wrong, advised, was Two Live Crew. It was a hip hop group called Band in the USA. It came out in 1990, and approximately at that time, 225 records had that album or that sticker. It's all on bad albums. Which this is my deal, and I'm probably taking it from Eminem. But if you don't want your kids to listen to it, don't have it in your house. You know, I grew up, like I said, very strict Catholic. No, I listen to a lot of late 80s and early 90s country. You know, I can even say butt in my house. B-U-T-T. That was a major sin. What they call it in the Catholic religion? I wish I would remember that. There's two types of sin in the Catholic religion. I don't agree with it, because to me a sin's a sin whether it's bad or good. There's a moral sin and there's something else. I can't remember. Anyways, you can look it up. But in my house when I was a kid, if you said but, I mean, we got grounded. It was that bad. But anyways, but my deal is, if you don't want your kids to listen to, and there's a lot of things kids don't need to listen to. don't have it in your house or put it up where they can't get to it. But then again, if they get to that age where their stuff starts to pique their interest, they're gonna find it. And I was actually wrong on this because I thought the first album that had the parental advisory or explicit lyrics parental advisory sticker was Straight Outta Compton by NWA. And I think it came out like 86 or 88, I can't remember. But anyways, I'll tell you the story how I found out about NWA. Now, I'm 12, 13 years old. Like I said, I grew up listening to a lot of like George Strait, Toby Keith, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Jody Messina, Black Hawk, Brooks, and then all that late 80s or 90s country. And then I had an uncle, or I still have an uncle, that would listen to like late 60s and 70s rock, Bob Dylan, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Queen, the Eagles, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, all that stuff. So that's about and if you know anything about Catholic religion, they're not that musically not inclined, but they don't do a lot of music. They do some, but they don't do a lot of it. But anyways, so a buddy of mine became really good friends. It was like 6th or 7th grade, I can't remember. Anyways, and I was either at his house all the time or he was at my house. It didn't matter. One of the two. Anyways, I went over there one night and he was like, hey, you ever heard of this band? Well, it was a group, not really a band, called NWA. I was like, what's that? And then I found out about it. I'm not going to say it because I don't say that word. But anyways, it's with attitude. Anyways, so I listened to Straight Outta Compton and it was nothing like I'd never heard. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Now, I don't know if I actually said that, but I was like, this is really good music. Of course, it had cuss words. And my buddy's like, hey, what I'll do is I'll burn you a copy. Y'all remember that? Burning CDs back in the day? Some of y'all people probably know what the fuck's a CD. But anyways, and he goes, what I'll do, or I was like, he goes, I'll burn you a CD from LimeWire. Remember LimeWire? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm getting a little drunk, but still. Anyways, actually, I don't remember if it was LimeWire or not, but I got a LimeWire story in my comedy routine. But anyways, so I was like, I would take it, but my mom would ground me for 3 weeks to a month if she knew I had this CD. She's like, he goes, this is what you do. I was like, okay, what do you do? He goes, I'll burn it for you. Of course, there's a blank CD, He said, we're not going to put NWA on it. We'll put Tim McGraw or whatever, George Strait. And she goes, she'll never know. But you think it's going to work? She goes, oh, she'll never listen to it. Thank God she didn't. Because the first thing she would hear would be, you're now about to witness strength of knowledge or whatever Dr. Dre says. And then, anyways, yeah, it's gonna be bad. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've actually listened to that album. Anyways, but I became obsessed with that album. I think not just because of the dirty words, that was a lot of it, but because it was different than what I was used to hearing. It was a whole nother type of genre of music, and it wasn't all about my dog died and my girl left me or whatever, which I do love them songs, don't get me wrong. I was actually in a George Strait mood the other day. But anyways, so he burned a CD for me and she never did find that, or listen to that album. I grew up, and my peepaw had like 40 acres, and he had a business he ran. And we'd be in like golf carts, and he'd have, I just drive up and down for hours listening to NWA. But anyways, so that's how I found out about NWA. It was also the first time that I watched a rated R movie and did not get in trouble for it. I watched Chucky, the horror movie, and I love that movie. I love horror movies. I've been getting into them. I just watched Terrifier 2, and I'm actually going to be doing a review on that the next couple of days. But anyways, but yeah, I watched Chucky. It was funny that weekend. I got in a lot of trouble, not from the city, but it's funny. He goes, "We want to watch Chucky." I was like, "What's Chucky?" It was like probably the first horror movie I ever watched. Excuse me. And we watched it, and he's like, "Now just a little bit of peach fuzz right here." He's like, "You want to shave? I'll show you how to shave." I was like, "Okay." So I shaved. Yeah, my mom was fucking mad. But anyways, back to freedom of speech. And this is what gets me is we no longer, like I said, I go off track all the time. I ramble a lot. But anyways, it's getting to the point now, and I think a lot of it has to do with social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever else they got out there. MSN Messenger, anybody remember that? That was actually the first thing online that I talked to people online. I never did chat rooms, like going to a chat room, but I did MSN Messenger. But now it's getting to the point where if you don't agree with somebody, they just get pissed off and get mad. Physically get mad and won't talk to you. I'm like, that is a bunch of bullshit in my opinion. I'm like, what happened to, like I said, I think it's with social media. The bad thing, I think there's good and bad in everything. I believe that wholeheartedly. That there is good and bad in everything. Whether you're a priest or a preacher or you're a cop or whatever, teacher, there's good and bad. There's good and evil. It's in the Bible. And where the hell was I going with that? I was going somewhere with that. But anyway, that's what I was talking about. I remember now. Sorry. I get confused. Anyways, I think there's a good and a bad in social media. Good, this is my deal with the good. It's good because you can stay connected with people that you don't see that much, whether it's your family that lives out of state, or your friends, or, people from high school, or whatever. But the bad part is there's so much bad, and also with the good, if you start a business or you have a band or something to promote, it's one of the best ways to promote anything through social media. Because everybody's on social media, or a lot of people, most people are, and, but, and I think too, because my grandma, I love my grandma to death, but she just got some weird ways. When we're all got our quirks and stuff, that she can't stand Trump. And I'm like, well, he is a loudmouth, but my deal is, I'm more for Trump than my deal is, vote for the lesser evil. Anyways, but I think Trump's not good for social media because he's a politician. I don't think they should share if you're in a place of politics or whatever, or anything. You really don't need to share, but that's taking away your freedom too, but but anyways, but my deal is up until, I think, well, there was no social media until George Bush. the Sun, I think, because it would have been at 2001 is when, I know I'm getting off track, but I'll loop it back, I promise. When we were attacked in 2001, before him, there really was no social media. There barely was no internet. And I think just now, and this is my deal. Now, one thing I do not like is how, whether you're left wing or right wing, you're not my president. No, he's still your president. You don't agree with what he does. That's my deal. But that's just my opinion. But I believe you have a right to say that too. But I also believe, I know I'm jumping off back and forth, that like your kids, you should control what your kids watch. Eminem said, he goes, I'm a big fan of Eminem. That was another artist I discovered around that time, back in 1999, 2000. Of course, when that first album came out, he was one of the biggest stars on the planet, And, but I think, you should monitor what your kids watch. Now, they're gonna, because I'm a kid, they're gonna find stuff out. And to me, it'd be easier or not easier, but better if they found out the right way than the wrong way about certain situations. But like I said, freedom of speech. I know I'll keep going on. I could talk about this, for another 2-3 hours. I'm going to talk about it a little bit longer. But anyways, I was doing some research and I was looking up. I was like, I wonder when. But anyways, I'll get back to this, I promise. Or make it all come together at one point. That's one thing I'm real bad about. Getting off and going off on that side road and this side road and that side road. That way. We'll go back around this way and we'll go this way, up that way. Anyway. But it seems like, and I don't know, just because I'm a big fan of music and I just study this stuff, that, like explicit lyrics or like rap or heavy metal or whatever it is, it's just getting bashed for the lyrics. Which, like I said, 6-year-olds don't need to listen to some of that or that stuff. But, you got to let them also. My deal is, I don't have kids. But if God ever gives me the gift of kids, I'm going to be a little bit more lenient than I will. No, my parents were. Not that they did a bad job. They did a hell of a job raising us. But I want to know, my kids know a little bit more than what I did, But anyways, Straight Outta Compton come out before, by NWA, Two Live Crew's band in the USA. And the funny thing, it was one of the biggest selling albums, I think, that year in hip hop. And it got no radio play. Drink another beer, Eric. It got no radio play because they would not play it on radio stations. It was that bad. But the kids found out about it at record stores, and it just became this phenomenon back, especially white suburban America. And this is my deal. I got a lot of people, and I wish people were more open-minded. And I say that wholeheartedly. I think I've said this before. Because you don't know what other people grew up. I don't know what it's like to live in the hood, or even in New York City. I'm from Magazine, Arkansas. There's about 1,000 people where I live. It's rural, it's country, a lot of dirt roads, cows, a lot of farmland, like 4 or 5 businesses at the most. We got a post office, 2 convenience stores, a cafe, a school, and a telephone office. And that internet, that provides internet, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you got a few other businesses, but I mean, no stoplights. But I don't know what it's like for somebody like Dr. Dre to live in Crenshaw or wherever he lived, in Compton. You know, I don't know any of that. I've never been there. I've never been west of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know, I've never lived in a big city. I've driven through some, but I've never lived one. And that's what I don't like is when people like, oh, whatever, you know, your situation. Oh, they're just nothing but a bunch of gangster blah, blah, blah with his pants hanging down and whatever. Versus, you know, too, also, vice versa, someone from that situation, you ain't nothing but a redneck, blah, 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 blah. I think we need to come together and just put aside our differences, you know. You know, why can't 2 people of different colors be friends? God made everybody, you know, and like I said, I know I get off. And I'll probably get a bunch of people pissed off at me, but oh well. But I'm for freedom of speech, and this is my deal. I did a lot of Dahmer jokes, or I did one, but I shared a lot of memes on Facebook, and people got offended by it. I'm like, you know, yes, it's not that good, but that's my right. And it's your right to disagree, but I don't think we should have to fight and come to words about it. You know, I think we just should, you know, agree to disagree and go on. Who cares, you know? Because until tomorrow, that's not, an hour from now, that's not going to even matter. You know, I just wish more people would come together. No matter what our religion is, our sexual preference, or whatever, you know, whatever's stopping us. And don't worry about, you know, now there's some things, I'm very gray on a lot of subjects. Now there are some things that I don't agree with 100%. I don't agree with abortion. I don't think a woman's got the right to kill a baby or anybody. I'm sorry. To me, the only person that can take you, God brought you into this world and God can take you out. Now, but my deal too is, if I see that on social media, I don't turn them in. I just keep on scrolling. Okay, that's their opinion. And they may have a reason why they think that way. I don't know, you know. But I'm just saying that's freedom of speech and freedom of whatever. I'm not going to look it up. Anyways, but what was funny, I was doing some research, and in 1968 is when the Movie Picture Association of America came out with the movie ratings. You had G, PG, PG-13, R, I think, and NC, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I was just curious, you know. The first, from what I've researched, the first movie to have an R rating was Greetings. I've never seen the movie. I don't even know what it's about. The first PG-13 movie, and that came out in 1968. Kind of ironic. Red Dawn was a 1984 movie, and it was the very first PG-13 movie. They proposed a law up wherever, and in December of 1996 to get TV parental guidelines, and it went in effect of January 1st, New Year's Day, 1997. There's TVY, which is everybody can watch, TVY7, which is 7 up, TVG, TVPG, TV14, and TVMA, which is mature. And they also got other stuff, deisexual dialogue, sexual dialogue, or sexual situations, language and sexual situations, violence. And this is one I didn't realize. Fantasy violence. I didn't know that. There's also nudity, which I didn't have it on there. But anyways, my deal is with this 40 minutes of me rambling is just, I don't know it, because if you read the Bible, it's not going to get any better. And I hate to be doom and gloom, but if you're saved by Jesus Christ, you don't have to worry about nothing. Look up Revelations, it says there. But I just wish people would either agree to disagree or have the decency to respect people's different opinions without being angry and getting mad and well, fuck you, man, and if you don't agree with me, you're against it. I'm against everybody or whatever, you know. I mean, that's why we come to this in 1776, I think. I don't know, I've been drinking a little bit, but anyway, we come to the United States for that. Whether, you know, we got the right to practice free speech, free religion, and whatever, you know. So, you know, and like I said before, I think too, I did a video a while back ago about, do you think that teenagers or young kids should listen to explicit lyrics, songs with explicit lyrics on it? This is my deal. I think it depends on the kid. I think there's some that are too young, and I think because some people mature more than others, and others don't mature as fast. And there are some people that they're going to do whatever that song says. They're very influenced by whatever they listen to or see on TV. You know, I was never like that. Because when I listened to rap when I was a kid, it was all about fuck the police, you know, NWA and Strike Compton and all that stuff, and slapping bitches and all that, calling women bitches and whores and homophobes, if you know, Eminem or whatever. But I knew enough because I knew Jesus, and I went to church. And I'm not saying that I'm the most religious person, because I'm not. But I knew right from wrong, you know, that I knew that this was not reality, or rap was not reality, or movies was not reality, you know, and that's not where, you know. So, you know, I think it depends on the kid. I don't know. I mean, I don't know just from my experience, like I said, but you got some kids that are influenced by, they see someone else and that's what they're going to do, you know, whether it's smoking or drinking or drugs or whatever, you know. I never was that way. I was too scared for everything. So anyways, but that's my deal on freedom of speech, and have fun listening to this rambling video for almost 40. Have another beer, Eric. Almost 40 minutes. And tell me what you think. I mean, I may be off from what you think, but I respect you, you know, and I wish we'd get back to that way. But also, look, I'm also going to do a few more videos. I'm going to do one in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow. Or I'm going to do my top 30 favorite covers that were like somebody else's songs, but I like the covers a little bit better. So look for that. I'm going to do a Poison album. I'm going to do an Eminem album review, Poison album review, Motley Crue, some maybe All Oates. I've been getting a lot of pop here lately. I might do a couple pop albums. So check it out, Expiring Music Writer, and I will see y'all later.